Is your stomach growling because you're hungry? In fact, your stomach is actually not making noise because it's empty. Have you ever been sitting in a completely silent classroom during an exam, a tense office meeting, or out on a romantic date, when suddenly your stomach lets out a super loud rumbling sound? Embarrassment immediately rushes to your head, and the very first thought that pops into your mind is usually, "Man, I am so hungry right now." But have you ever actually stopped to think about it scientifically? How can an organ that doesn't have vocal cords create such a loud, dramatic rumbling noise? Is there a tiny monster hiding inside your belly? Or is it just trapped air passing through by complete accident? Before we dive deeper, you should know that in the medical world, that stomach rumbling sound actually has a very unique scientific name, borborygmi. The word itself comes from ancient Greek, an onomatopoeia specifically created to mimic the sound of rumbling or gurgling fluids inside a hollow container. The biggest myth almost all of us believe is that a growling stomach only happens when we are hungry. But in reality, your digestive tract is constantly moving and making noise all the time. Whether you just finished eating 2 full bowls of hot noodles, whether you've been fasting all day, or even while you're fast asleep in the middle of the night, your internal digestive organs never truly stay silent. So, why does the sound seem to be so extraordinarily loud, specifically when our stomach happens to be empty? To understand why, we first need to get acquainted with a critical biological process called peristalsis. Your entire digestive tract, starting from your esophagus, going down to your stomach, and winding through your intestines, is essentially a flexible tube surrounded by layers of smooth muscle tissues. The primary job of these muscles is to perform rhythmic, wave-like contractions to squeeze and push food, liquids, and gases from top to bottom. This squeezing process happens continuously throughout your entire life, very much like how you squeeze a tube of toothpaste from the bottom upward. When your stomach is filled with solid food and drinks, those dense materials act as a built-in natural sound dampener. The stomach muscles are still working extremely hard to churn and break down the food mixture inside. But because the hollow chamber is packed densely, the resulting sound is completely muffled and doesn't bounce outside your body. However, the entire scenario changes completely once all that food has been digested, its nutrients absorbed, and your stomach is left empty after a few hours without new food. When this empty state occurs, your brain immediately detects that your blood sugar levels are dropping and that your supply of energy has been depleted. That is the exact moment when your brain sends neural signals to your digestive tract to activate an automatic self-cleaning mechanism known in medicine as the migrating motor complex. This powerful wave of muscular contraction acts like an automatic broom whose main job is to sweep away leftover food particles, dead cells, and bacteria from the stomach walls down into the small intestine. Now, because your stomach and intestines at that specific moment no longer contain solid food mix, but rather consist of trapped air and a tiny bit of remaining fluid, the vigorous squeezing motion of this cleansing wave causes sounds to bounce around at maximum volume inside that empty space. Muscles squeezing air and liquid in a hollow chamber produce that loud, vibrating sound we know as borborygmi. The analogy is almost identical to tapping on a completely empty plastic bottle versus tapping on one filled with water. The empty bottle will always sound dramatically louder. Besides the empty chamber and these muscle-cleansing waves, another major contributing factor that makes the noise even more dramatic is a chemical combination of hormones and intestinal gas. When the stomach remains empty, your body begins producing hunger-triggering hormones called ghrelin and motilin. These hormones not only send strong hunger signals straight to your brain, but they also act as catalysts that force the muscles in your digestive tract to contract harder and faster. The longer you delay your next meal, the higher these hormone levels rise, the stronger those muscular contractions become, and consequently, the louder the rumbling noise gets. On the flip side, without us even realizing it, Every single time we swallow our saliva, drink through a straw, chew gum, or talk while eating, we constantly swallow small pockets of outside air. Add to that the natural gases produced by trillions of beneficial bacteria living inside our gut as they break down dietary fibers. All of this accumulated air and gas gets pushed, squeezed, and trapped through the narrow, winding passages of your intestines. This physical reaction creates a vibrating effect, similar to air being forced out of the narrow neck of a stretched balloon, producing a high-pressure rumbling noise that sounds even louder through your abdominal wall. In general, this stomach rumbling phenomenon is actually a very positive health indicator, showing that your digestive system and muscles are healthy, active, and working in perfect harmony. The sound serves as living proof that your body's automatic self-cleaning system is hard at work keeping your intestinal tract clean and ready for your next meal. However, you should still pay attention if the rumbling sounds abnormally loud on a continuous basis and is accompanied by uncomfortable symptoms such as severe abdominal pain, sharp cramps, nausea, persistent vomiting, or severe bloating, as that could potentially indicate an underlying gastrointestinal issue. But if the noise just shows up naturally around mealtime, it is purely a completely normal communication code from your body letting you know it's time to eat. So in conclusion, a growling stomach when you're hungry doesn't mean your stomach is weak or shutting down due to a lack of food. Rather, it's because your digestive tract is actually working extra hard to sweep the room clean using powerful muscular waves, air, and liquid. Next time your stomach suddenly rumbles loudly in public or right in front of your friends, there's no need to feel embarrassed at all. Just smile casually and tell them that your gut's automatic self-cleaning system is simply operating at peak performance right now. When does your stomach usually rumble at the most awkward times? Share your funny stories in the comments below, and don't forget to always keep a regular, healthy eating schedule.